Good Sunday afternoon, trekkers. It is Sunday, February 26th, 2023, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It is 47 degrees Fahrenheit under these beautiful sunny skies. Down here in Peru, Illinois, LaSalle, Illinois, at the very western end of the Illinois and Michigan Canal. Built in 1848, this canal connected Chicago with the Illinois River, and now it's a parking garage for barges, but at one time this is where the steamboats from the Illinois River coming from the Mississippi and St. Louis would meet the canal boats, offloading their people and their goods to head back and forth to Chicago. This canal. Today's trek should be about a 12 mile, in a neighborhood of 12 miles, as we make our way from this western end of the canal along the recreational path up to North Utica, and we'll turn around and come back there. This, I hope, is one hike of a series. Well, let's get going. We're going to be chasing dark tonight. I'm hoping that along the way they continue to have these little markers. They're kind of interesting. This one says we're at mile 96, and 0.8 miles up ahead is the lock. It's also where the parking area is for this end. So this is a little out and back here. I didn't technically start right at the end. I started 0.8 miles from the end, walked to the end, and walking back. Sign says 96 miles. My understanding of it, and I still have some research to do, is that this was a 90-plus mile canal from the Illinois River, which, by the way, is right on the other side of these woods. You can see the water over there. And but I believe that the actual recreational trail along the canal only goes for about 70-ish miles, somewhere in there. And then the last 20 of it winds through Chicago, some of the suburbs of Chicago and Chicago proper. And the actual canal itself does not make it to Lake Michigan anymore. 1950s, it was covered over to build an expressway. Okay, we parked here, walked to here, walked back, and we're right about here now. We're crossing under this bridge, and we're going to make our way over to Utica, kind of come across, come back, and back over. That's today's hike. That is the Illinois Cement Company. I'd always wondered what that was. And this is the Little Vermilion River Aqueduct, or Little Vermilion Aqueduct. I know there's a Little Vermilion River. Must be over there. And I guess that goes between Illinois and that. But here you have water on top of water. That is pretty cool. Split Rock Lake. And over on the other side you can see very low sandstone bluffs. I don't know the origins of Split Rock Lake. I'm going to presume that before the locks and drainage and aqueducts were put in and the canal was put in, that this was just a swampy backwater off the Illinois River, and now it actually has become a small lake. It has gotten warm enough, even though it's only February. There are bugs flying around and landing on me. I don't know if I was mentally prepared for that. Here's a little thought experiment. Can you guess why they call this split rock? Well, that's easy enough. Now, I don't know this for fact, and I'm guessing there's a sign up here that explains it. My guess is before the canal went in, this was one rock. I had a nice little break there. Made a phone call. I seem to do that fairly often now. Get in touch with family. A couple of birthdays today. Stepmom's birthday. Talked to my dad. Listened to the owls up in the hollow hooting. A couple of bikes passed by. Some young kids started climbing the one part of Split Rock. Now, we've got a little less than 2.5 miles to our turnaround point at North Utica. I'm hoping I still have some good daylight there. Should still have some good daylight there. It's only 2:30. Because it looks like kind of a neat little riverfront or canal front. The river, we have left that behind. That is over that direction through the marshy flats. Probably a solid 1/2 to 3/4 of a mile away now, as we're making our way kind of northeastish.
It doesn't get deep. It actually gets shallower because it goes uphill.
An unnamed lake. You can see on the other side there is a large equipment structures for a large stone quarry. And the guy that I was just talking to here about a half mile ago kind of filled me in on some of the local features here. He grew up as a kid in Utica, which is just up the road where we're heading towards. And apparently this lake is privately owned. And as far as he knows, and he's never heard anybody put a name to it, it's owned by a duck hunting club out of Chicago. And quite an interesting little discussion. Learned a little bit about the river that's here, and very clear water despite coming out of farm fields. Usually rivers that originate in farm fields tend to be rather murky for not very good reasons. But he talked about as a kid running up and down this path, and people would drive their cars. This is before it was a National Heritage Trail, but they'd drive their cars down to Split Rock and party, and he was too young for all of that, so instead they'd go into the caves that are all in throughout these bluffs, and they would go hunt for bats. And you can't hunt for the bats anymore. It's the Indiana bat, and they are endangered. But yeah, it was kind of interesting, just getting a little bit of local knowledge there. There we go. About 3/4 of a mile, a little less than a mile of marsh grass, and we're back to water again. Been a little hard to set up shots here. There's been fairly consistent traffic. There's somebody right on my heels here, and somebody's always coming from the other direction too. So, but get up to Utica, you can see the buildings already. We'll get up there, clear the trail, take a little break, turn around, head back. 4 o'clock right on the button, and we are in North Utica. North Utica, Utica. North Utica, Utica. It tells me I'm at 7.4 miles. I think it's about maybe 4.5, thereabouts, a little bit over back, somewhere in that neighborhood. And yeah, sun is still up, but it's gonna be down before we get back. I'm guessing the last 2 2 miles or so will be in near darkness. Skies are clear with just a little bit of clouds, which means we should get a sunset. And we're walking west, so we should see it. Looking forward to that. Taking a very much needed break, starting to wear down. But been a really good day. Knees are hurting pretty good. They're not happy, but I'm managing that pretty well. And fortunately the back has behaved pretty well. Left leg has behaved pretty well. So I've just had the knees to deal with, and that has been very manageable. See the road over there? That's Highway 178. And if you head south on that, about a mile away, you'll cross the Illinois River. And there's a large stone quarry that's right in that area just before you cross the river. After you cross the river, you'll take a left turn to one of the coolest state parks in Illinois, Starved Rock State Park. Lots of sculptured bluffs right along the Illinois River. You can get back into some of the hollows and the coulees in there on the trails. Great picnic grounds. I will advise you though that if you are there in the summer and the fall, get there before 9 o'clock in the morning, or you will not find a parking space. Don't go there if you're looking for peace and quiet, because you won't get it. However, if you go late October through this time of year, you will have a splendid experience away from people, and you'll get good views and just some beautiful scenery. And then just down the road from there is Mathiasen State Park. I think I pronounced that correctly. It goes along the Vermilion River, and also just spectacular, stunning scenery as you go in between the coulees down in that area. Two excellent state parks that are well worth your time to visit. Just be prepared for different experiences at different time of the year. A familiar sound along the bike trails. Blackbirds. And they're never happy. Never. They're grouchier than I am. Yeah, it should be a fairly quiet walk back. I think we'll see far fewer people now than before as we're getting on towards the supper hour and the sun is going down. Kind of pleasant walking through here. If you ignore the hum of the quarry over there, you hear geese and ducks and blackbirds and jays. He's not happy with me. Sun has got hour 15 left in it, and you probably can't make it out because of the camera, but the moon is right up there. So we'll see a sunset on the trail. We'll have a little bit of moonlight. Don't know if I'm going to hang around long enough to see moonset though. Back at Split Rock, taking a much needed break, and we are definitely going to catch sunset on the canal. That should be pretty neat. Looking forward to that. I think we've got almost exactly 2 miles back to the car, and we're at 9.95 miles right now. That's including going back and forth for the camera and all that. Not too bad considering at 10 miles. Right knee and left leg are starting to complain a little bit. Back is still pretty good. Overall, a success compared to where I've been the last 4 or 5 weeks. This is a happy day. sun is down, temperature has dropped. Quite a bit actually. Not uncomfortable yet. We're getting there. And we will hit just a little bit over 12 miles here. Been just a really nice day to get out. Temperature got up probably in the upper 40s, maybe close to 50. Sun was out, very pleasant. Some of the birds are out in full force. Trail was in really pretty good shape, a little sloppy in some places, but really good. And the knees were okay. Back was good. This is an interesting spot. You can see right there, telegraph pole, probably from the 1920s, maybe earlier. Power lines are probably, I don't know, 30, 40 years old. And a cell tower that's somewhere between 10 and 15 years old. Interesting little spot. Well, trekkers, I think that's pretty much going to be a wrap. I'm just going to keep moving forward here and get back to the car. I hope you guys enjoyed walking along this very western segment of the Illinois and Michigan Canal. It's a couple hours from home for me, and for several million people, it's less than an hour's drive. I'd call that an everyday adventure.